I'm back with another TAD talk. Do you remember last week when I was talking about Trump and Farage? Really similar. Actually, maybe too similar. Or maybe somebody else is pulling the strings. Remember that chat? Well, pour yourself another cup of tea. There's more to come. Is anybody else struck by the fact that there seems to be no press scrutiny around the fact that Nathan Gill, the person that was Reform's leader in Wales, got done for taking money off the Russians the other day? Because like the official party line from Zia Youssef is, Nigel barely knew Nathan. He said he gets his picture taken with loads of people. But other than actually trying to stop the conversation around Russia by issuing legal letters down in Wales, Reform seemed to be very quiet on it. But I was struck this week by this article in the Telegraph of all newspapers, which said Nigel Farage has a Russia problem. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Because this is the Telegraph that pays Nigel Farage $4,000 a month to write articles for them. So maybe the Telegraph have a Russian problem. But the framing was interesting because I'm old enough to remember when Carol Cadwallader said that Britain has a Russia problem and his name is Nigel Farage. So I went back down the Cadwallader rabbit hole because I just thought it'd be interesting to look at in light of what's now happened. So you might recall, Carol Cadwallader kept trying to interview and question Nigel Farage back in the day, but he would never take her questions. So she actually went to one of his little sort of leave the EU speeches. And I loved this bit because at the chat she was at, Farage was saying that people saying we're going to run out of medicines and there are going to be lorries backed up on the motorway was all just Operation Fear. I mean, fast forward a few years and Operation Fear came to be Operation Reality. But it's weird why Farage keeps getting away with it, isn't it? Anyway, I digress. I had forgotten that he was a person of interest in the FBI's Russia investigation as well. Seemingly he had to get investigated because he was right in the middle of it. Of course, Farage did his usual and said that he couldn't possibly be a person of interest because he's got nothing to do with Russia. But then Farage often says some weird things, like the time he said he hadn't met the Russian ambassador. Here he is, meeting the Russian ambassador. And I found this quote really interesting as well, that when Farage was pushed about is he a journalist or is he a politician, he said that his mission really was about changing public opinion, using the media to do that. Now, to be fair, Nigel is really good at changing public opinion, he's right. And he's always been very good at utilising social media. In fact, colleagues back in his MEP days talked about how little he actually went to the Parliament to speak, but every time he was there, it was clipped very quickly and put out on the socials. Which, when you think about it, is exactly what he's doing right now as an MP. But here's the thing. Back in his MEP days, he used to give it to a staffer to upload to YouTube. A staffer who was a frequent visitor to the Russian embassy. A staffer that's actually got into a fair old bit of trouble, who's been accused of spreading Russian propaganda, orchestrating a smear campaign against a critic of the Kremlin. Meanwhile, the Russians and hybrid warfare go way back, and they knew exactly how to work the algorithm to make sure that footage that they approved with really got amplified. I mean, I'm no expert, I'm assuming that the Russians still know how to over-amplify somebody's voice online. Now, of course, all of this could just be a huge coincidence. All the people around Nigel seem to be sort of connected with Russia. Oh, in case you're wondering about the screenshot with Isabel, it's because she once revealed in emails that she thought that Aaron Banks, you know, the guy that gave 45 grand to Nigel, that he was being used by the Russians. Of course, Isabel more known now for being Deputy Dick's girlfriend. Oh, it seems like he's got a Russian connection as well. But, you know, all these things could just be coincidences, couldn't they? I mean, it's not like Nigel's ever done anything to outwardly support Russia. I mean, that said, it is quite interesting. In his fight for the Senedd, he's already said that he's going to scrap the Nation of Sanctuary scheme in Wales. That'll be the scheme that predominantly helped Ukrainians fleeing from the Russian war. And I know he said what Nathan Gill said about we had poked the bear, which is why poor Putin had no choice but to invade Ukraine. And okay, he did stand up at the European Parliament and said Vladimir Putin, doesn't matter what you think of him as a human, he is actually on our side. And okay, he did oppose sending fighter jets to help Ukraine when Russia invaded. Yeah, and he did tell us that the EU was more dangerous than Russia. And seemingly more evidence has come up today to say that him and Nathan Gill were really as thick as thieves. I mean, it is odd, isn't it, that Nigel calls a press conference for everything, but not about this matter of national security. Anyway, what do I know? I'm literally just asking questions. There's nothing wrong with that, is there? As you were.